Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here, and in today's video we're going to learn how to make this asymmetric bubu with a fringe. So for this tutorial we are going to be needing at least 3 yards of fabric, 3 yards by 60. So we are going to start with the cutting and then we'll do the sewing. So here is the fabric that I will be using for this tutorial. I have a light Duchess fabric. I have used this fabric before. I used it for the circular bubu that I posted one time like that. So this is the fringe that I'll be using. This is a fabric fringe, though it has shimmer and it is up to like 10-12 inches. Then I have my bias, my zipper, and my fabric. You can use a light fabric or you can use a thick fabric if you want. So here is the pattern paper that I'll be using. I had to join this pattern paper so that it will be long enough to reach the full length that I want to get. If you are making this dress, it should be, let's say, 5 inches below your knee length. Then I'm going to fold this pattern paper. This time around, I am cutting out this pattern paper on fold. I am cutting it out on fold. And once I cut one, I will use it for both the front and the back panel of the gown. So the first thing that we are going to do is from the shoulder, we'll mark our chest line, that is 8. My bust point is 10, my half length is 17, my hip length is 27, my knee length, I want to use 37 inches. Then the full length of this dress is going to be 44 minus the fringe. The fringe is not included here. So after doing this, I will line and I'm going to label them. This is the chest line, bust point, half length, hip line, knee line, and the full length. So I will cut off the remaining part of this pattern paper. Then after marking this, after labeling them, we are going to take our normal gown measurements, and I will not be adding any darts to this gown. If you check very well, this gown does not have any darts. So right now I'll measure my neckline. I'm using 3 by 3 for now. Then my shoulder divided by 2. From there, I'll mark my normal armhole. For now, mark your armhole. You are going to be needing it. So after marking this armhole, I'll mark my neckline. The wideness of the neck is 3. The depth is 3 inches. So after doing that, I'll connect my neckline. So after connecting the neckline, I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch. Do not add any other allowance here. Just divide your bust by 4 and then add 1 inch seam allowance. At the half length, I'll take my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. At the hip, my hip divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. Then at the knee line, I will subtract 8 from my hip line, then I'll divide it by 4. So whatever I get, that is what I'll mark at the knee line. So after doing this, I'll connect the gown, and it will be a basic gown, just a normal gown, though it will not have a dart. So after doing that, I am going to cut out this pattern paper, and this is the paper that I'll be using for the bubu gown, both the front and the back. The zipper of this gown will be at the side, so there is no point drafting another paper for the back. So after doing this, I'll go ahead and cut out. After cutting, please remember to slant your shoulder. Then I'll open this pattern paper. I have my reason why I drafted this pattern paper on fold, because the gown that we are cutting is asymmetric. So here is the right and the left. I've labeled the right and I have labeled the left so that I will not be confused. So the one shoulder should be facing the left. This is a one shoulder gown, so the neckline, the off shoulder neckline, should be on the left side. You can see I have drafted the off shoulder shape, and I'll go ahead and slant. It ended at the chest line. You can see that neckline stopped at the chest line. So start from the normal neckline of the right side and slant towards the armhole of the left side. So after doing this, we are going to place it on our fabric. Here is the fabric that I'll be using, and I'll be cutting the front and the back at the same time. I'll just fold my fabric, then I will cut out the front and the back at the same time. You can see the fabric I have here, it is on fold. like I said, I used this fabric before, so ignore the curved area on this fabric. I have used it before. Please ignore that area. If you have your full fabric, you will not have that curve that you are seeing around there. So I have folded my fabric and I will place this pattern paper on it. So after placing the pattern paper, I am going to draft the full length of the gown first. Then I'll add 1 inch seam allowance. You can see I've added my 1 inch seam allowance at the full length, and I am cutting out. Just cut off the full length for now. So due to the nature of my fabric, I had to open the center, I have to open the folded area so that I can be very, very sure that I am cutting the front and the back at the same time. So after opening the center of this fabric, the folded part of this fabric, I'll place my pattern paper, and I had to place my pattern paper upside down because of the nature of the fabric that I'm using. I've used this fabric before, so I placed it upside down so that the other side will be enough for what I want to use it for. But if your fabric is complete, you don't have to place your pattern paper upside down. So now, one side of this gown will have our normal shape, it will have our normal figure, while the other side will look like a bubu. So this side that I'm cutting out now is the left side of this fabric. You can see that our off shoulder area is facing the left side. So this place that I cut out now is the left side. It will have a normal shape, a normal figure shape. Then the other side, the right side of this fabric, we have the bubu. The bubu will be on the right side of this dress. So from the shoulder area, from the armhole area, you are going to extend this fabric by how long you want your sleeve to be. So from that armhole area, I want my sleeve to be 24 inches. So I marked 24 inches. From there, mark your 24 inches. From that area where we normally fix our sleeves at, that is where you will start marking your sleeve. Then from there, I extended this fabric by 24 inches. I don't know if you can see my chalk marking at that end. So from that 24 inches, we are going to curve this bubu down to the full length of this gown. So I will go out by like 1 inch before I start curving so that I will not make any mistake. So after doing that, you will connect from your full length of the sleeve, from the sleeve to the full length of the gown. Connect from the full length of the sleeve to the full length of the gown. Your curve should look this way. We are still going to trim some places, but for now, this is what it should look like. Measure the full length of your sleeve from your shoulder. Then from there, you will connect to the full length of this gown. You can see what we have here. One side of this gown has a normal figure, while the other side has this curved bubu shape. So I have removed my paper, and I have two pieces here. I have both the front panel and the back panel, and I am going to curve this down part a bit. You can see what I have there. It is taking shape gradually. So I have two pieces here. What I'm going to do is that I will turn the neckline first of all. I'll use a bias to turn the neckline for the front and for the back. This is the first step you are going to take. So you go ahead and turn the neckline with a bias. So I am done turning the neckline, and this is what we have. We have the back, this is the back, and we have the front. You can actually use any side as your front or your back. So this is what I have now. I am done turning the neckline. The next thing that I'm going to do is to close this curved side, is to close this normal shape. This place that we have the normal shape, we are going to close it, and we are also going to fix our zipper. So mark out 1 inch, mark out 1 inch for your seam allowance. Remember that we added 1 inch seam allowance when we were cutting this gown. So now I will go ahead and mark out 1 inch seam allowance, and you will indicate where you want your zipper to stop at. If you want it to stop at the hip, fine. I'll go ahead and close, but I'll leave the zipper allowance open. This place that I'm holding is where it is going to stop at. So I am done closing the rest of the gown, but the zipper allowance area is open. I told you guys I will add my zipper at the side of this gown. I don't want the center back to have any joining. So this is an invisible zipper. I am going to add my invisible zipper, and it should be on that 1 inch line. It should be on the 1 inch line. I am done fixing the zipper, and this is what I have. So I am going to open up the zipper. I'm going to open the zipper, then I will cut the excess. I will cut off the excess we have. After cutting it off, I will go ahead and close the zipper. The reason why I want this area to be open is so that it will be easy for me to wear. So your zipper should be open around the armhole area. So this is what we have. I am going to iron now. I will iron this normal figure shape, this normal area. Make sure you iron, because the other shaping will be it will be on the right side of the fabric. This first shaping that we did is at the wrong side of the fabric, but the bubu area, the shaping will be at the right side of the fabric. So I am done ironing, and you can see what I have. It is flat now. The next thing that we are going to do is to close our shoulder. You can see our shoulder is still open, so we are going to close the shoulder. But before I do that, I want to trim the full length again, so you can see what I have here. The curve is looking very nice now. So I'll go ahead and close our shoulder area. You close it first of all before you take your final measurement. So I am done closing the shoulder area, and I have ironed. So this is what I have now. You can see I have closed the normal shape, the left side of the fabric, and I have closed the shoulder stroke sleeve area. Then I'll go ahead and pin this fabric together before taking our final measurement. Pin the front and the back panel together so that they will not shift. From the shoulder, you will come down by 8 or 10 inches. This 10 inches is where your hand or where your hand will come out from. This is like your armhole space. Then after coming down by the 10 inches, you start taking your body measurements. You measure your bust, your waist, your hip. It depends on how free you want this dress to be on your body. So I will go ahead and mark my hip measurements. So after marking, I will connect this measurement, but it will not reach the full length of this gown. It will stop around 34 inches so that I will have ease when I'm walking. When I'm walking, it will have to be free. So I will start from 10 inches and end at 34 inches. So this is what I have at the end of the day. The next thing that we are going to do is to fix our fringe. But before fixing the fringe, you will have to hem the full length of this dress. If you want to attach the fringe on top, you can do that. If you want it to be under the fabric, you can do that as well. So before I'll attach this fringe, I'll go ahead and hem the full length of this bubu with my bias. You can overlock. If you have a weaving machine, you can weave the full length before adding your fringe. I will remove the fringe for now, and I will hem the full length. So after hemming the full length with a bias, this is what I have. I'll go ahead and run this fringe on top of the fabric. I want it to be on top of the fabric. I hope you can see what I have here. I'll go ahead and place this fringe on top of the gown. Then I will run a stitch on it. And that is all we have for this tutorial. After fixing your fringe, you are done. You can go ahead and weave the rough areas. So this is what the dress looks like on my body. I hope it is beautiful. So guys, please do not forget to subscribe and click on the like button so that more people can get to see this video. Also click on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be notified. Thank you all so much, and see you all in my next video. Bye.